Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. We are continuing our previous shiur on the topic of Birkas Tefillin. We saw a Eitzah of Rabbi Kiva Eger. And Rabbi Kiva Eger says, why don't we, in the morning, say the bracha of L'Haniach and make it tonight. And say it like this. If Rashi is correct, that L'Haniach works for both, then I just want it to work for the Yad, not for the Rosh. And if Rabbeinu Tam is correct, then it should go for the Yad and the Rosh. And this way, when you make a bracha al Shel Rosh, you also for both shittas. According to Rashi, anyway, the Shel L'Haniach Yad Kavana didn't cover the Shel Rosh. And according to Rabbeinu Tam, anyway, when you put on the Shel Rosh, you have to make a bracha. So what's wrong with the Eitz of Rabbi Kiva Eger? Why don't we use that Eitz? Another kasha is, that kasha we asked in this year. Another kasha is, and we have an answer here, that this was asked by Hagoyin Reb Shmuel Avigdor, the author of the Tana Tosfah. And the minhag of saying Baruch Shem Kavod Machusa Lo'ilam Voed, that we say after the Al Mitzvahs, he says, I don't understand. According to Rashi, you don't have to say an Al Mitzvahs. Why? Because the L'Haniach covers. Not necessary to say Al Mitzvahs. When do you have to say Al Mitzvahs? When you make a hefsek. So when you start making the bracha, you say Baruch Atah, in between the Shel Yad and the Shel Rosh, you made a hefsek. And then anyway, you're nacham or you're chayiv to say the Al Mitzvahs. Then why do you have to say Baruch Shem Kavod Machusa Lo'ilam Voed? Because Rashi. You don't have to say an Al Mitzvahs. No, but according to Rashi, when you start saying Al Mitzvahs, that itself is mechayiv to say an Al Mitzvahs. You made a hefsek. Because it's sach bein tefillah to tefillah. When you talk in between the tefillins, you have to make it a bracha. Then what's pshat with this Al Mitzvahs? Those are the two kashas, and hopefully in this year we're going to continue. We're going to conclude this the third in the series, and hopefully this will conclude. We saw some big yisodos in the previous shiurim, and hopefully in this one we will as well. This is Hashem Darkeinu. Again, this is based on a shiur given by a goner of our Rabbi Ozer Shlita, Rashiv of Itri, Yerushalayim Yirah Kodesh, in Parshas Eschanan and Tavshin Ayin Ches. There's a steer in the smack in the Sefer Mitzvah Kotten. On one hand, he writes in Siman Kufin and Vav that if they bring somebody behemos acheros, koydin shegamar lishchot, eino choyzer mevarech. He says that if they bring somebody other behemoths before he finishes shechting, he makes a bracha, he has 10 animals to shech. So he makes a bracha, he shechs first one to the 10th. Then they bring him more. He doesn't make a new bracha. However, linyan sicha bein shchita v'shchita. If he spoke in between shchitas, he writes that he has to make a new bracha. Based on what we said in the previous year, these two dinim are totally one and the other. If all the shchitas are one mitzvah klalis, then you don't need a direct connection between the bracha and each shchita independently. And therefore, even if you are mafsik b'dibur, you don't have to make a new bracha. If every shechita is a bazundere mitzvah, it's a different mitzvah, it's a separate mitzvah, and it's kovas bracha la'atzma, the etzem. So then if they bring a new behema in front of you, the shas shechita, then you have to make a bracha. So how can you on one hand paskin that when they bring new behemas, no new bracha, mashma it's one bracha klaus, so it doesn't need to be a kesher yashir. And on the other hand, he paskins that if you speak bein shchita l'shchita, you do need to make a new bracha, masma that it's mityaches to every behema benifrad. It relates to every animal separately, distinctively. So, which one is it? So the answer to this question is alluded to in the words of the Smak. He explains why, because of hesach hadas, and that's different than hefsek. In other words, even though hefsek itself is not a problem here, since he already started the mitzvah before he was mafsik, and all the shchitas are one mitzvah. But if by speaking it's a hesach hadas, so then the mitzvah is over, and it went bye-bye. And if he has to shecht again, then he has to make a new bracha. Not else hefsek. without Hesach Hadas. So again, so you could say that the bracha is a bracha klalis, and therefore, when they bring new behemoths, he doesn't have to make a new bracha. But if he speaks, he's Mesiach Das. And you can see this in the Rishonim and Chulin if you look carefully, Pei Zayin. Some of them talk about Sicha Ben Ashchitos as a hefsek. Look in the Ritva, the name of his Rebbe. And some also talk about Hesach Hadas. That the Sicha is a Gemar La'asiyas Mitzvah. He started doing something else. So sometimes, you see from these Rishonim, Dibur is a Hesach Hadas. And therefore you have to make a new bracha whenever you speak in between shchitas. According to this, we can understand. Oimek diktuk loshen Rabbeinu Harosh, who writes in the first parak of Maseches Pesachim, Siman Yud, V'leimatzinu desicha behefsek elabein tefillin l'tefillin. V'shun bracha rishona kaimanami anochas tefillin shalosh. V'imsach tzarich levarich pam acheres l'aniach tefillin l'perish Rabbeinu Tam. Rashi, Nami, Kevin the Trey Mitzvah Lom Akvi Adadi, Vim Loy Soch Ein Soch Levarach Al Mitzvah, and you can have a Hesach Hadas. So he starts by saying that Sikh is only a hefsek between Tefillin and Tefillin, because the Bracha Rishona is also going on the Anachas Tefillin Shal Rosh, and therefore it's a hefsek speaking in between Tefillin Shah and Tefillin Sharosh. And if he speaks, he has to make another bracha. Which bracha? He has to make another Laniach Tefillin according to Rabbeinu Tam. According to Rabbeinu Tam, the Sharosh requires two brachas. And the Laniach and the Shalyad is also going on the Sharosh, but if he speaks, he has to make two brachas on the Sharosh, because the Laniach and the Shalyad doesn't apply to that. It's a hefsek. It's speaking. And according to Rashi, there are two mitzvahs, and they're not ma'akev, Shal Yad and Shal Rosh. And if he doesn't speak, then he doesn't make an Al Mitzvah Tefillin. And if so, if he does speak, right, according to Rashi, he doesn't speak, he doesn't have to make an Al Mitzvah at all. He makes no bracha on the Shal Rosh. But if he does speak, then what does he have to make? He has to make an Al Mitzvahs. And therefore, the speaking is a Hesach Hadas. So what's odd is that he starts talking about a hefsek, and then he concludes by talking about a Hesach Hadas. Why is that? Because first, originally, he's talking with Shitas Rabbeinu Tam, and the Shitas Rabbeinu Tam, they are two mitzvahs chalukos. Each one gets a bracha la'atzma, and the bracha of La'aniach that he made originally is going separately on the Shal Yad and the Shal Rosh. And therefore, if he speaks in between, he's mafsik bein bracha la-mitzvah, right? Because the bracha of La'aniach is coming in between, the speaking is coming in between the bracha of La'aniach and the Hanachas Tefillin, and the mitzvah of Hanachas Tefillin. Shal Rosh. So the speaking comes between the Hanachas Tefillin, between the bracha of La'aniach and the Hanachas Tefillin Shal Rosh. That's a hefsek according to Rabbeinu Tam. But in the end, he's talking with Shittas Rashi, who holds that it's a mitzvah achas. The Inyan brachas, right? Rashi writes two mitzvahs. But the Inyan brachas, it's one mitzvah, like the Rambam says. That whole Vinyanim Echad, like the Rambam says in the Tshuva we saw in the first year. Since it's one Inyan Tefillin, one bracha suffices for both. And therefore, since one bracha suffices for both, it's not going to be a problem with hefsek, because he already started the mitzvah. He said La'aniach, he put on the Shal Yad, so the mitzvah already started. And as far as brachas is concerned, they're not two separate mitzvahs like according to Rabbeinu Tam. It's one mitzvah. It's not that it's Chal and the Shal Yad and Shal Rosh been Friday. It's Chal and the Shal and Shal Rosh together. So Mela, once it's already Chal and the Shal Yad, so that already includes the Shal Rosh. The speaking doesn't bother us. What is the problem? The problem is Hesach Hadas, because the Dibur is Ba'avera, and therefore we consider it Gemar Hadavar Ke'ezach Hadas. Look in the Rashba and Chulin Pei Zayin. So Stama Hefsek isn't a problem according to Rashi. Because again, the bracha was already Chal on the Shel Yad. So he was allowed to talk as far as Hefsek goes. It wasn't Mafsik, he already started the mitzvah. Bracha was already Chal, it's fine. But the problem is a Hesach Hadas. He was Mesir Das. When he spoke, it's as if the bracha ended. And now he has to make a new bracha on the Shel Rosh. In Shulchan Aruch in Yeridei and Yotes Hey, he brings 2 days of Sicha Ben Shchita to Shchita to Hefsek or not. Some say yes, some say no. Pri Chodesh writes that the Shochtim of an Eitzah, Latzis Midiyat Safek, to make it Tanai Merosh, that if they speak in the middle, the bracha shouldn't go on the Shchitas that come afterwards. And in such an instance, Ladas HaKol, they have to make a new bracha, because there are Mechavim b'Mefurish, that the bracha isn't Chal on the later Shchitas. And it turns out then that they're Mischayev to be Mevarich, Mivadai, V'loi Misafek, Ubetu was sure. He was very opposed to this Eitzah, because from a number of Mekaymas, it's Muchach, that you can't make a Tanai to be Magbil Brachas. Somebody had in front of him a number of Peiros, and he only had Das to be pater some of them and not others. His Tanai is nothing, causing a Bracha Shein Tzricha. And the Tanai doesn't even work. Besides the fact that it would be usher to do that. Because since he was Mevarich ala Peiros and he wants to eat them, the Meli paters all of them. But Lav Kol Kamine Lachshav shall lift our Chelkom. The person doesn't have the koach, that the bracha shouldn't pater some of them. Some yes and some no. Doesn't work. It's avitnish. Same thing. You can't make this Tanai. If I speak, then the bracha is in Chal and the Shechit is after the speaking, so I'm not chayiv to the bracha. No. Can't make a bracha that the bracha is only pater in some and not all. Yesh la'ayin. For sure is a very good point. But Manaseh, that we find one of our masters and teachers who writes that Tanai b'bracha is effective. So writes the Marach or Zerua in the Tshuvas Siman Aleph, that a person is Bevarach ala Tzitzis, then is Kavin Shet Gerchas Eitala L'Irak L'Beget Shu Loi Be'Sha'ata. In other words, he says the bracha should go on the beged tzitz I'm wearing now, not the one I'm wearing afterwards. The second beged isn't pater, even if he wasn't mafsik and he has to make a new bracha. What about the raya of the Tvuah Shor? You can't do that with fruits. You can't do it with fruits. What can you do with tzitzis? So it would appear that it's really not a steer. The Merachor Zerua is talking according to the opinion that every shchita is a mitzvah la'atzma, and every beged is a mitzvah la'atzma that he's wearing. And therefore he writes, Feirush, Shimsach bein beged lebeged, choyzer mevarich, because each one is a mitzvah la'atzma. He even brings in the name of his father, that even if a person doesn't make a new bracha, and doesn't speak, he has to make a new bracha on every shchita, because they're gufin mechulakam, they're different bodies. But he says, no, only if you speak. So his sheet is like the Torah, that every ma'asim mitzvah is mechayev be'etzem bracha b'fnei atzma. So the bracha has to be mityaches yeshirot, it has to relate directly to every beged. V'im hifsik beineim, tzarich levarich shuv. The person's mafsik, he has to make a new bracha. Just like if he was mafsik between the bracha and the asiyas hamitzvah, he has to make a new bracha. So too, if he's mafsik between the bracha and one of the maisim, one of the begadim, one of the shchitas, he has to make a new bracha. And therefore, if he's miskavin shlotalo a bracha lavisha shniya, he has kavanah, it shouldn't be chal on the second lavisha. His tanai is effective. Why is this tanai effective? Because every maisa requires a bracha b'fnei atzma. This bracha achas poiter es hakol. It's as if he made on each one independently. But when he has das not the pater, his bracha only counts for the levisha or the shchita. But it doesn't count for the it only counts the levisha and the shchita next to the bracha, but not for the later ones, because again, each one requires its own bracha. So if you make one bracha, so it'll cover them all, as if you made a bracha independently on each one. But if he has kavanah only for part of them, and only counts for part of them if he speaks in the middle, it's only until when he spoke. That's the Marachor Zarua, that for sure is talking about the eights of the Pri Chadash. To be mitaking the Chashash Bracha L'Batala, according to those shitas, that it's enough to make one bracha even if you spoke in the middle. Now, according to those shitas, that one bracha is enough even if you spoke in the middle, it's because it's a mitzvah achas klalis. It's one general mitzvah. One big, long mitzvah, like we said. And therefore, the Tvur Shor says you can't make it tonight. It's like if you eat a number of pears, you can't make it tonight, only pater one of them. Because each tree is not mechayev its own independent bracha. The achila b'chlalusa is mechayev its bracha achas. And he made a bracha. And his machshava, not the pater, the hemshech achila, is garnished. And therefore the Tvur Shor had a kasha, there's no eitzah. V'yotzei did midei chashash bracha levatol. Again, if you hold that it's a bracha achas klalis, not for everything, so then the dibur is not going to stare and the brother for tonight isn't going to work. But if you hold, like the Marachor Zarua, that each one requires its own independent bracha, then a dibur does stare and the person has to make and a person can make a tanai, but it's only going to go on certain ones and not the other ones because it's each one is an independent unit. So now we could be miyashev the kasha of Rabbi Kiva Eger that we started with in the first year. Why is there no eitzah to make it tonight? That if the halacha is like Rashi and the Rambam, the lahaniach shouldn't go on the tefillin shel rosh. Because according to this shita, you consider the tefillin like one mitzvah. As we explained. Right, according to, as far as brachas is concerned, Rashi holds that the tefillin shel yad and the tefillin shel rosh are one mitzvah. So if they're one mitzvah, like the Tvur Shor says, if it's one mitzvah, making it tonight that it's only going to go on one and not the other, isn't going to help us. A Tanai and Hagbala doesn't work if it's one mitzvah. If they're each independent units, then you can make a Tanai to be Magbil. But if it's one Davar Klali, one big mitzvah, like Rashi holds with that vis-a-vis the brachas, Tefillin Shah and Tefillin Shah are one mitzvah, so the Tanai isn't effective to be Magbil the brachas. They're limited only to the Shel Yad and not to the Shel Rosh. So Arbit Nisht, the Tanai from Rabbi Kiva Eger, Rabbi Kiva Eger's Tanai, is not effective, like the Tvur Shor says. Umimele, Mituretzev Gama Kushia Shniya, that we asked in the Baal Tana Tosva, Shmuel Avigdor, that when you start making the bracha on the Shel Rosh, that's a hefsek b'dibur. And then mainly you're chayiv to make a bracha on the Shel Rosh. So what's the problem, even according to Rashi, the Rambam? You have to make a bracha on the Shel Rosh once you start making a bracha on the Shel Rosh. Rabbi Kiva Eger, Shulchan Aruch and Siman Chav Hei Tes, brings the panim iris. If you hear in between Tefillin Shah and Tefillin Shel Rosh the bracha of Laniach, Mipi Chaveroi, Oine Amen. Because the saying Amen Ha'amonas Hadvarim, saying that it's true, that it's emes, of Hanochas Tefillin, is not a hefsek. And he brings that in the Tshuvas Dvar Shmuel, he argues and he holds that Amen is a hefsek. And so proves Rabbi Kiva Eger from the din of Amen after Abba Rabba. That the Inyan Hefsek should be in Bracha la Mitzvah, even this Dibur, that's Ba'oisai Inyan, is a Hefsek. And so learn the Mishnah Berurah LaHalachos. That's why we finish with the Chazan, Habocha Bar Mitzvah B'Yahava. Not say Amen. So that's all when we're discussing Midin Hefsek Shebein Bracha LaMitzvah. Aber Midin Hesech Hadas, the Kulei Alma, there's no problem with Hesech Hadas. Because he's Asuk Ba'oisa Mitzvah Mamish Shabala Asoisa. He's not Mesiach Das L'Davar Acher. Oibazoi, when he starts making the Bracha of Al Mitzvah's Tefillin, we definitely can't say that he's Mesiach Das Me'anachas Tefillin Shel Rosh. The only thing you can do is you can come Medin Hefsek and say that even according to Rashi that one bracha is enough. Nevertheless, since you were mafsik, the Tevas Baruch Atah on the Tefillin Shel Rosh, so now he has a chiyuv to make a bracha on the Shel Rosh. He was mafsik b'dibur. But based on what we said, according to this shita, there is no hefsek between tefillin that requires a new bracha. Because it's all a bracha achas, it's all a mitzvah achas. The only time you need a new bracha is when you have a hesech hadas. Because what's pshat with a hesech hadas? That you're messiahing the mitzvah and you're starting a davar chadash. But here we said there is no hesech hadas. So mitzad hesech hadas, no hesech hadas, because you're not starting a new thing because you're thinking about the tefillin shel rosh. It's not a hesech hadas. And mitzad hefsek, Rashi doesn't have a problem with hefsek. Why doesn't Rashi have a problem with hefsek? Because it's a bracha klalis. The bracha doesn't go individually, independently on the shel yad and the shel rosh. It's one bracha, both in the shel yad and the shel rosh. And once it's already chal in the shel yad, there's no problem with shel rosh, like we've been explaining. But once you start, if there's no problem with hefsek, once you start doing the mitzvah. If it's one mitzvah klalis, if each one is an independent unit, then you have a problem of hefsek. Then the bracha has to be chal independently on each ma'isa mitzvah. But if it's all considered one big ma'isa, one big mitzvah, so then it doesn't have to be chal independently, and there's also no problem with hefsek, because it's chal both in klali on all the ma'isa that you're going to do, and that's Rashi's shita. Rashi's shita is that it's one bracha klalis. So since it's a bracha klalis, we don't have a problem with hefsek. So talk in the middle. It was already chal, and it's not a mitzvah, but it was already chal in the shel yad. So no new bracha is mandated. It's chal in the shel yad and the shel rosh from the get-go. So you don't have to worry about it, about hefsek. What, yes, hesech hadas. But there's no hesech hadas here. Why is there no hesech hadas? Because when you say baruch atah on the shel rosh, you're thinking of the shel rosh. That's not a hesech hadas. Now we understand why Rabbi Akiva Eiger required you to say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam V'ed. Because maybe the second bracha isn't necessary. Maybe it's a bracha levatala. You can't say that according to Rashi and the Rambam, you have to make this second bracha because you started speaking Baruch Atah, because that doesn't require a new bracha. Not al hefsek and al hesech hadas. And Rabbi Akiva Eiger's eitzah isn't good because you can't be magbil brachas. So therefore, we need to come on to what the Ramah said and say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusoi La'olam V'ed, and that saves you from the possible bracha of Atala. The hadvarim hayu nefloim meod, and obviously there's loads more to say on this sugya. We should be zocheh to say more. Mir Tishem Lilmod L'Lamed Lishmor V'Laisos L'Lekayim is called Divrei Salmut Tarasa B'Ahava. Amen. Shalom. Sweetest most beloved friend.